Settle in, let your breathing slow, and allow the noise of the day to fade, because this is a long, steady story meant to drift like candle smoke in a stone room, unhurried and calm, about a profession that existed long before comfort, anesthesia, or mercy, and about why it truly, deeply, quietly sucked to be a medieval dentist. Imagine a town just before dawn, when the cobblestones are still damp with night mist, and the bells have not yet called anyone to prayer or labor. The houses lean inward as if tired, their wooden beams creaking softly in the cold air. Somewhere between the butcher's stall and the apothecary's door stands a narrow shop marked not by a clean sign or a polite symbol but by something far more unsettling. A length of string hung with old teeth yellowed and cracked swaying gently whenever the wind passes. This is not a place of healing as we understand it now. This is where the medieval dentist lives and works. And simply surviving each day in this role is an exhausting test of nerve, reputation, and stomach. The medieval dentist does not wake with pride. He wakes with dread. His bed is thin straw, his room smells faintly of iron and old wine, and his hands ache before the day has even begun. These hands are not the hands of a scholar. They are rough, scarred, permanently stained by blood that never quite washes away. There is no morning routine of polishing instruments or reviewing gentle techniques. Instead, he checks that his tools are still sharp enough to do their brutal work quickly. Speed is kindness in this age. Slowness means screaming. Unlike physicians, who wrap themselves in Latin phrases and long robes, the medieval dentist occupies a strange, lowly space. He is often the barber surgeon, the tooth puller, the man who shaves beards one moment and tears molars from jaws the next. He is not invited to feasts for his wisdom. He is tolerated because pain exists and someone must confront it. Children hide when they see him. Adults avert their eyes. No one wants to be recognized by him because recognition usually means suffering is near. As the sun rises, the town begins to stir, and with it comes the sound that defines his existence: groaning. Toothache in the medieval world is not a mild inconvenience. It is a relentless torment. Without toothbrushes as we know them, without fluoride, without proper diets, teeth rot early and often. Infections spread unchecked. Gums swell, abscesses throb, and the pain crawls into the skull like a living thing. People do not come to the dentist for cleanings or advice. They come because they cannot sleep, cannot eat, cannot think, and sometimes cannot pray without wincing. The dentist knows what awaits him with every knock at the door: fear, anger, desperation. A farmer might arrive clutching his jaw, eyes wild, breath sour with decay. A noblewoman might come hidden beneath a veil, ashamed to be seen entering such a place, trembling not only from pain but from the humiliation of needing him. Pain makes everyone equal here, but it does not make them kind. There is no anesthesia. Let that truth sink in slowly, like a deep breath in the dark. No numbing injections, no laughing gas, no gentle countdowns. At best, there is strong wine or ale or a cloth soaked in herbs that smell sharp and bitter. Sometimes the dentist mutters a prayer, not for the patient, but for himself, because the screams will echo in his ears long after the tooth is gone. The chair is not designed for comfort. It is often just a sturdy stool or a wooden bench or the edge of a table. The dentist braces his knee against the patient's chest or shoulder to hold them still. He must be strong. If he is not strong, the tooth will not come out cleanly. It will break, splintering into the gum, leaving agony behind and a reputation ruined. A broken extraction is a failure everyone will remember, and reputation is everything. There are no licenses, no certifications, only rumor. If people believe you cause more pain than relief, they will stop coming. But if they believe you work too gently, too slowly, they may accuse you of cowardice or incompetence. The medieval dentist walks a narrow path between cruelty and skill, and both look the same to an observer who hears only screams. Blood is constant. It spills onto sleeves, onto aprons, onto the floor. There is no proper sterilization. Tools are wiped on claws already stiff with old stains. Infection is not a risk. It is an expectation. The dentist knows that some of the people he helps today will return weeks later with swelling and fever, or not return at all. And when they die, sometimes their families blame him. Sometimes they curse him in the street. Sometimes they throw stones at his door. The emotional weight is heavy, though no one speaks of it. The medieval dentist sees terror in its purest form. He sees grown men cry like children. He sees children held down by parents who cannot bear the sound but cannot bear the sickness either. These images follow him home. They sit with him at night when the town grows quiet and the candle burns low. There is no comfort in knowing this pain is necessary. Pain never feels noble when it is fresh. And yet, the work continues day after day, season after season. In winter, the cold stiffens fingers, making extractions harder, slower, more dangerous. In summer, heat and flies turn the shop into a place of stench and buzzing wings. The dentist swats at insects while trying not to slip with iron tools inside someone's mouth. One mistake could mean a torn jaw, a shattered bone, a life ended too soon. Money is uncertain. Some patients pay in coin, others in bread, eggs, or promises that may never be kept. The dentist is rarely wealthy. He is needed, but never respected enough to prosper. When plague comes, people fear him even more, believing that his tools spread sickness, that his proximity to blood invites death. When times are good, they forget him entirely until pain returns. Even his knowledge is limited. Medieval dentistry is a mix of observation, tradition, and superstition. Worms are believed to live inside teeth, gnawing away at them. Charms are whispered. Astrology is consulted. Teeth might be burned after extraction to prevent spirits from using them. The dentist participates in these rituals not always because he believes, but because belief comforts those who suffer, and comfort is rare currency. There is also the danger of the law. A noble's tooth extracted poorly can result in punishment. A death following treatment can lead to imprisonment or worse. The dentist must navigate social hierarchies carefully, knowing that one wrong patient could end his career or his life. He bows deeply, speaks softly, and hopes his hands do not tremble when it matters most. At night, when the town sleeps, the dentist's ears still ring with imagined cries. His fingers ache. His back throbs. He washes his hands again and again, though the smell never fully leaves. He wonders if there might have been another life, another trade, one that did not require inflicting agony to relieve it. But then he remembers the look of relief, brief and fragile, that sometimes follows an extraction, the moment when pain stops. The silence after the scream. That moment is small, but it is real. And so he rises again the next morning. Because it sucked to be a medieval dentist, not just because of the blood, the pain, the fear, or the loneliness, but because he stood at the intersection of suffering and necessity, blamed for one and rarely thanked for the other. He worked without comfort, without safety, without understanding, in a world that needed him desperately and despised him quietly. As you rest now, far removed from those dark shops and iron tools, let the story fade like a candle guttering out. The screams soften into echoes, then into silence. The medieval town sleeps. The dentist sleeps too, if he can. And the world turns slowly onward, toward gentler days. Breathe in. Breathe out. And let sleep take you where pain no longer follows. The night does not end cleanly for the medieval dentist. Sleep comes in fragments, shallow and uncertain, because even dreams are shaped by the day's work. He dreams of teeth falling like stones, of mouths that open wider than they should, of iron tools growing heavy in his hands. Sometimes he wakes suddenly jaw clenched, as if his own teeth ache in sympathy with those he has pulled from others. When dawn returns, pale and reluctant, it brings no relief, only the quiet understanding that the same suffering waits patiently outside his door. On some mornings before the town fully wakes, he walks through the narrow streets to steady himself. The air smells of damp wood and ashes from last night's fires. Dogs rummage through refuse. Somewhere, a church bell tolls slowly, marking hours that blur together. People nod to him without warmth, eyes flicking briefly to his hands, his apron, his shop. He is known, but never embraced. Pain leaves a mark on memory, and he is its messenger. There are days when no one comes at first, and those hours are strangely worse. Silence invites thought, and thought invites doubt. He examines his tools again, turning them in the light. Pelicans, forceps, crude hooks, all forged more for strength and precision. He knows each one intimately, knows which tooth it favors, which angle works best. He also knows how easily they can betray him. Metal slips, wood cracks. Human bodies resist. When the first patient finally arrives, there is almost relief in the routine. Fear is familiar. The trembling hands, the shallow breaths, the whispered questions that have no comforting answers. Will it hurt? They ask, though they already know. The dentist does not lie. Lies break trust, and broken trust leads to violence. Instead, he says it will be quick, and he hopes that is true. Sometimes the tooth comes free cleanly with a wet sound and a sudden rush of blood. The patient gasps, sobs, laughs, or goes frighteningly still. Sometimes it does not come free at all. It snaps, leaving roots behind like splinters of bone. Those moments are the worst. The dentist's heart pounds as he decides whether to dig deeper or stop. Digging risks infection and death. Stopping risks rage and accusation. Every choice is weighted with consequence. Children are the hardest. Their pain is sharper, their fear unfiltered. Parents hold them down, whispering prayers or apologies, while the dentist works as fast as his hands allow. He avoids their eyes afterward. Some children stare at him with hatred, some with confusion, some with a strange gratitude they do not understand. Years later, those children will remember his face when their teeth ache again. Memory is cruel that way. There is also the smell. Rotting teeth have a distinct odor, sweet and foul, that clings to clothing and hair. It seeps into the shop's walls. No amount of herbs or smoke fully masks it. The dentist eats little during the day, not because he lacks hunger, but because the thought of food turns his stomach. Bread tastes of iron, wine tastes of fear. He swallows anyway because strength is necessary and weakness is dangerous. As years pass, his own teeth begin to betray him. This is the quiet irony of his life. He knows exactly what waits when pain starts, and that knowledge offers no comfort. He chews carefully, avoids cold water, presses his tongue against sore spots and pretends not to notice. Who pulls the dentist's tooth? A rival? An apprentice? Himself? The thought makes his hands shake. Apprentices are rare. Few want to learn a trade that brings so little honor and so much misery. Those who do often leave after their first real extraction, pale and sickened by the sound and resistance of living bone. The dentist understands. He does not mock them. Survival in this work requires a certain hardening of the soul, and not everyone can afford that cost. Festivals pass, seasons turn, rulers change. The dentist remains. During celebrations, laughter fills the streets, but he is rarely invited. When he is, people drink carefully around him, guarding their mouths as if pain might leap from his presence. He smiles politely, then returns home early, where quiet feels kinder than forced cheer. Sometimes, in rare moments of honesty, a patient thanks him. The words are awkward, spoken through swollen gums, but they land heavily. Gratitude is unfamiliar. It lingers longer than insults, longer than screams. On those nights, sleep comes a little easier. He tells himself that relief, however crude, is still relief. But the fear never truly fades. Every extraction carries the risk of death. Infection can spread to the brain, to the blood. When someone dies days after seeing him, the dentist hears the whispers. He learns to keep his head down, to accept blame even when it is undeserved. Arguing only feeds suspicion. Silence, like speed, is a form of survival. Old age approaches without ceremony. His hands stiffen, his eyesight dims. Pain in his back rivals that of his patients' mouths. He works more slowly now, and that frightens him. Slowness invites chaos. He considers stopping, but stopping means hunger, and hunger is its own slow death. So he continues adapting, leaning closer, trusting muscle memory more than sight. Eventually another takes his place. A younger barber, a bolder man, less burdened by memory. The old dentist fades into the background, known only as a warning, a reminder, a shadow of pain past. When he dies, there is no grand marker. Perhaps someone remembers that he once ended their suffering. Perhaps no one does, and yet his work mattered. In a brutal world, he stood where others would not. He touched pain directly, without illusion. He bore screams so others could sleep. It sucked to be a medieval dentist, because the job demanded strength without reward, compassion without recognition, and endurance without comfort. As this story drifts toward stillness, let the images soften. The iron tools grow distant. The cries fade into memory. The medieval town rests under moonlight, unaware of how far the world will someday come. Your breath slows. Your jaw unclenches, pain loosens its grip. There are no dentists here now. Only quiet, only rest, only sleep. Time moves strangely in the life of a medieval dentist, stretching and folding in on itself like worn cloth. Even after his hands grow too weak to pull teeth, even after he steps away from the bench and the stool and the stained apron, the work does not truly leave him. It settles into his bones. It hums quietly behind his thoughts like a distant bell that never quite stops ringing. In his later years, he sits more often by the window, watching the town live without him. He sees children running across the square, laughing with open mouths full of uneven teeth, and he wonders which of them will one day sit trembling where so many others once did. He notices how people chew, how they favor one side of their mouths, how they touch their jaws when they think no one is looking. Pain has trained his eyes. He cannot unsee it. Sometimes people still come to his door, not realizing he no longer practices. They knock softly, apologetically, as if pain itself has taught them humility. When he opens the door and tells them he cannot help, they look lost, even betrayed. In those moments, he feels the strange weight of being needed and useless at the same time. He points them elsewhere, to younger hands, sharper tools. When the door closes, the silence feels heavier than screams ever did. At night, the memories wander freely. He remembers the feel of resistance giving way, the exact moment when a tooth surrendered. He remembers the heat of blood on his fingers, the way some patients collapsed with relief while others stared at him in shock, as if part of themselves had been stolen. Teeth were small things, but they carried identity, pride and fear. Removing them felt intimate in a way few professions ever experience. There were moments of near disaster that still tightened his chest. A patient who fainted and did not wake quickly enough. A child who bit down hard in panic. A noble who threatened punishment when pain proved worse than promised. He survived these moments not through wisdom or kindness, but through stubborn endurance. In a medieval world, endurance was the closest thing to virtue. The town changes slowly. New buildings rise where old ones collapse. Fires come and go. Disease visits, leaves, and returns again. Through it all, toothache remains. Pain does not care about progress. Even as methods improve slightly, as rumors of better tools and foreign practices drift in from distant cities, suffering remains familiar. The dentist hears these rumors with mixed feelings. Hope, yes, but also the quiet knowledge that change always comes too late for someone. When his own teeth finally fail beyond endurance, he makes the journey to another practitioner. Sitting on the other side of the bench feels unreal. He grips the wood until his knuckles whiten. He understands every movement before it happens. He knows when to brace, when to scream, when to surrender. The pain is sharp, but there is comfort in knowing its shape. Ignorance, he realizes, was always the cruelest part for his patients. Afterward, he feels lighter in a way that surprises him. Pain gone, yes, but also fear. The fear that lived in every appointment, every knock at the door, every cry. For the first time, his body is not a tool. It is simply his own. In the final years, people remember him differently. Time softens anger. Parents tell children stories about how he helped when no one else could. The teeth once strung outside his shop are long gone, scattered or buried, but his presence lingers in the town's shared memory. Not beloved, not celebrated, but acknowledged. And in that quiet acknowledgement, there is a kind of peace. It sucked to be a medieval dentist because the work demanded everything and offered almost nothing in return. No thanks, no safety, no comfort. Only pain exchanged for pain, fear met with fear, endurance paid with exhaustion. Yet without him, the suffering would have been worse. That truth settles gently, like dust in still air. Now the story slows. The town dims, the tools rest, hands unclench. Jaws relax. You are far from iron and blood. Your breath is steady, your body is safe, and sleep, soft and patient, is already waiting. The night deepens further, and even memory begins to grow quiet. In the old dentist's small room, the sounds of the town fade into a distant hush, like waves retreating from a shore. He sits wrapped in a wool blanket, firelight flickering across walls that once held shelves of tools. Those shelves are bare now. The iron has been given away, sold, or left behind with no ceremony. Metal, after all, has no need for nostalgia. His breathing is slow, uneven, but calm. For the first time in his life, no one is waiting for him to cause pain. That thought settles gently in his chest. He listens to the wind move through cracks in the shutters, a sound not unlike a long, steady sigh. It reminds him that the world continues without effort, without force, without the grip of iron on bone. In moments like this, he reflects on how little choice there ever was. People often think suffering comes from cruelty, but he knows better. Much of it comes from necessity. Teeth rotted because diets were harsh and care was crude. Pain ruled because knowledge was thin and mercy limited by ignorance. He was never the cause, only the point where suffering stopped spreading and concentrated into one terrible moment. He remembers patients who came too late. Faces swollen, eyes fever bright, breath heavy with decay. He remembers the helplessness of those days, when pulling a tooth felt like trying to stop a flood with bare hands. Those memories used to weigh heavily on him. Now they feel distant, like stories told by someone else. Outside, somewhere in the town, another child cries in the night. A toothache, perhaps. The old dentist feels the instinct to rise, to help, to reach for tools that are no longer there. The instinct fades, replaced by acceptance. Others will take his place, as rough and necessary as he once was. Pain will pass through new hands now. His body grows heavier with rest. The aches in his fingers soften. His jaw loosens, no longer braced against imagined resistance. Even his dreams are gentler. There are no screams in them now, only quiet rooms and open windows, sunlight touching stone floors where blood once fell. In these final hours of waking, he understands something that eluded him all those years. It was not just the work that made the life hard. It was the loneliness of standing so close to pain that no one wanted to stand close to him. It was being essential and unwanted at the same time. That is why it sucked to be a medieval dentist more than any scream or stain ever could. The candle burns low. The flame steadies. The air is warm and still. Thoughts drift apart. Memory loosens its grip. Time stretches, thin and quiet. You are no longer in the medieval town. You are no longer near pain. There is nothing to pull, nothing to fear. Only darkness, only breath, only rest. Let sleep deepen. Let the world soften. And let this story, at last, fall silent with you. The silence does not end the story. It only slows it further, stretching it into a long, gentle twilight where thoughts drift without urgency. In this softened time, the world of the medieval dentist becomes less sharp, less cruel, as if distance itself has wrapped it in linen and laid it carefully aside. Long after his candle has burned down to a dull glow, the old dentist lies listening to the quiet rhythm of his own breath. Each inhale feels deeper than the last, each exhale a small release, like setting down a burden that has been carried for too many years. The aches in his body no longer argue for attention. Even pain, it seems, grows tired of holding on. Beyond his room, the town sleeps in layers. Horses shift in their stalls. Somewhere, wood contracts with a soft crack as the night cools. Roofs gleam faintly under moonlight, and no one is awake to think about teeth or blood or fear. This is the rarest gift the medieval world can offer: forgetfulness. He remembers, faintly now, the first day he ever pulled a tooth. He had been young, eager, afraid of being afraid. His hands shook so badly he had to hide them in his apron. The scream had startled him, not because it was loud, but because it came from a place so deep inside another person. That scream had changed him. Every scream after had only reinforced the lesson. Pain strips people down to something raw and honest, and standing in its presence leaves marks no one else can see. Years passed like that, days measured not by sun or bell, but by how many jaws he had leaned into, how many cries he had endured. He learned to breathe through it, to steady himself by focusing on simple things. The grain of wood beneath his fingers, the weight of iron, the sound of his own heartbeat. These small anchors kept him from drowning in the noise of suffering. Now, in this late quiet, even those memories seem less solid. They float by without sharp edges. Faces blur. Voices lose their urgency. What remains is not pain, but effort, the memory of effort given again and again, without certainty of reward. And strangely, that effort feels almost peaceful in hindsight, like a long walk finally ended. The medieval world was never gentle, and dentistry was among its harshest corners. People feared sickness more than death, and pain more than shame. They would rather face the dentist than continue another night of throbbing agony, even knowing what awaited them. The dentist understood this unspoken bargain. He never asked for gratitude because survival rarely leaves room for thanks. In the distance, the future waits: clean tools, soft voices, numbing medicines, bright rooms where fear is managed rather than endured. He will never see that future, but it exists all the same, shaped in part by countless nameless hands like his, hands that learn through trial, error, and suffering. That thought brings a quiet comfort. Even the hardest lives ripple forward. The fire dies down to embers. Shadows stretch and soften. The old dentist's breathing grows slower, deeper, as if sinking with the night itself. There is no anticipation now, no dread of the next knock, No preparation for the next scream. His hands rest open at his sides, empty and at ease. Somewhere, far away in time, another dentist will work in silence. Pain eased before it begins, patience calm and reassured. That gentler moment is built on the endurance of these earlier days. Pain endured so pain could someday be avoided. The thought drifts through the darkness, barely a thought at all, more like a feeling. And now nothing more is required. No strength. No courage, no endurance. The medieval town fades completely, dissolving into a soft, featureless dark. The sounds disappear one by one until only breath remains yours, steady and calm, jaw relaxed, shoulders heavy. Mind floating somewhere between memory and dream. Sleep deepens, slow and certain. The story has no more screams to give you. Only rest. Only stillness. Only the gentle passing of time. The darkness stretches on, smooth and unbroken, like a long road with no turns and no signs. In this space, the story no longer rushes forward. It simply drifts, carried by breath and stillness, as if even time itself has decided to rest. The old dentist is barely a figure now, more a presence than a person. He exists as a sense of weight easing, of tension releasing. The life he lived feels far away, like a distant shore glimpsed through morning mist. Pain no longer defines him. It loosens, thins, and finally slips away, leaving only quiet awareness. In the medieval town, night deepens further. Lamps burn out one by one. The streets grow indistinct, edges softened by shadow. Somewhere a cat moves silently across a roof. Somewhere else, a sleeper turns and sighs, unaware of the long history of discomfort and endurance that shaped their peaceful rest. The town breathes as a single, slow body. Long ago, people believed pain was a test, a punishment, or a message from unseen forces. The dentist lived inside that belief, even when it weighed heavily on him. He wondered, in rare moments of reflection, whether suffering truly taught anything at all, or whether it simply existed, demanding to be faced. He never found an answer. Perhaps answers were a luxury, like comfort, reserved for other ages. What he did know was repetition. Day after day, pain arrived. Day after day, he met it. There was a strange rhythm to that, almost like the rhythm of waves striking stone. Over time, the stone does not resist. It simply remains. That remaining was his quiet skill. As sleep deepens, even that thought fades. The mind no longer needs meaning or memory. Images dissolve into colorless impressions. The sound of breathing grows louder, steadier, filling the space where words once were. The jaw, so often clenched in empathy or anticipation, hangs loose and relaxed. The tongue rests easily. There is no ache, no pressure, no sharp edge of sensation demanding attention. The medieval dentist's shop no longer smells of iron or decay. It smells of nothing at all. An empty room. A closed door. Dust settling slowly where tools once hung. Outside, grass pushes gently between stones, patient and unstoppable. Time covers everything eventually, smoothing even the roughest places. In this softened world, pain has no urgency. It cannot shout. It cannot knock. It waits, but it is far away, held at a distance by rest and darkness. The body understands this instinctively and lets go a little more with each breath out. Inhale slow and deep. Exhale long and easy. The story no longer asks to be followed. It does not need attention. It moves on its own, like a river in the dark, carrying fragments of the past towards silence. The medieval world recedes fully now, its sharp edges dulled by centuries. Its cries absorbed into the quiet fabric of history. All that remains is this moment. Still, heavy, calm. There is nothing to prepare for, nothing to endure, nothing to pull away. Only rest spreading gently, from the top of the head down through the face, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders. Down through the arms, the chest, the back. Down into the legs, the feet. The body feels supported, held, allowed to be completely still. Sleep settles deeper, like a blanket laid carefully over everything that once hurt. Thoughts slow, then pause. Awareness dims to a soft glow. And in that glow, the story finally becomes what it was always meant to be. A quiet companion, a fading echo, a gentle guide into rest. There is no more to do now. Only sleep, only calm. Only the long, peaceful dark. The quiet continues, unbroken and patient, as if the night itself has decided to linger a little longer. Nothing presses forward. Nothing asks for attention. The world has slowed to the pace of breathing, steady and gentle, rising and falling like a calm tide. In this softened darkness, the medieval dentist is no longer defined by his work. He is simply another resting soul in a long line of lives that labored, endured, and eventually let go. The weight he carried for so many years, fear, responsibility, the sharp closeness of pain, has loosened completely. It slips away without effort, as naturally as a clenched fist opening in sleep. The town around him feels distant, almost imagined now. Stone walls blur into shadow. Narrow streets melt into quiet paths of memory. Even the church bell, once so constant, no longer counts the hours. Time is wide and still, stretching comfortably in all directions. Long ago, people believed that suffering left a mark on the spirit. Perhaps it did. But rest leaves its own mark too, softer and deeper. In rest, the body remembers how to exist without bracing itself. The jaw does not tighten. The shoulders do not rise, the breath does not rush. Everything settles into its natural place. The dentist's hands, once instruments of force, now rest completely open. They remember nothing they need to do. Fingers that once strained against resistance now feel light, almost weightless. The scars fade into warmth. The ache dissolves into a dull, harmless hum, then disappears entirely. Somewhere far away in time, pain still exists. Of course, it always will. But it does not belong here. Here there is only the slow drift of thought, the kind that doesn't form words, only sensations, a sense of floating, a sense of safety, a sense that nothing unexpected will happen. Breath moves in and out. In calm, out. Release. The medieval world, with all its hardness, fades like an old tapestry left too long in the sun. The colors soften, the sharp threads loosen. What remains is texture without weight, history without urgency. You are not inside it anymore. You are only observing its last traces as they dissolve. Sleep deepens further now. It spreads evenly like warm water, reaching places that still held a hint of tension. The forehead smooths. The eyes rest heavily behind closed lids. The mouth hangs slightly open, free of effort. The tongue rests quietly, with no pain to guard against. There is no fear of sudden noise, no knock at the door. No scream cutting through the air. Only a vast, gentle quiet. In this quiet, even identity softens. The dentist is no longer dentist. The town is no longer town. Past and future no longer pull at the mind. Everything narrows down to this single, peaceful moment of rest, where nothing needs to be remembered and nothing needs to be done. Thoughts slow until they stretch into silence. Images fade into darkness. Awareness dims like a candle lowered carefully, not blown out. You are safe, you are still, you are resting. The story does not end abruptly. It simply continues becoming quieter, thinner, until it blends completely with sleep itself. And by the time you notice, you are already far beyond words, drifting comfortably in deep, uninterrupted rest. Nothing follows. Nothing disturbs. Only sleep. The quiet remains, soft and wide, like a long hallway with no doors left to open. Nothing changes quickly here. Change, when it comes at all, moves so slowly that it feels more like settling than motion. Breath continues its gentle rhythm, unnoticed but steady. Each inhale lifts the chest just a little. Each exhale lets it sink back down, as if the body itself is rocking you deeper into rest. There is no need to guide it. The body already knows how to sleep. The last traces of the medieval world drift further away. Stone turns to shadow. Shadow turns to darkness. Darkness becomes something warm rather than empty. The old dentist, the town, the tools, the pain, all of it has thinned to nothing more than a faint echo, and even that echo grows tired of repeating itself. In this deepening stillness, thoughts no longer arrive in full sentences. They appear as soft impressions, weightlessness, warmth, safety, then dissolve before they can form meaning. The mind stops searching. It stops listening for danger. It rests in the knowledge that nothing is required of it. The jaw hangs loose and easy. The neck feels supported. The shoulders sink gently downward, as if gravity itself has become kinder. Far away, beyond awareness, the world continues its complicated movements. But here, there is only simplicity. A quiet space where effort has no purpose and memory has no pull. The body rests not because it must, but because it can. Time loses its edges. Minutes do not stack or count themselves. They stretch and blur into one another, like clouds drifting across a night sky you are no longer watching. There is no impatience here. No waiting, just being. The breath grows even slower now, longer in, longer out. With each exhale, something small releases an old tension in the face, a tightness in the hands, a lingering alertness in the chest. These releases happen without thought, without instruction. They happen because sleep is doing what sleep does best. The story has nothing left to explain, no images left to offer, no lessons waiting at the end. It simply stays with you, quiet and steady, until even the idea of a story fades. Words soften into silence. Silence deepens into rest. You drift further down, carried by nothing at all, safe, heavy, still, and in this gentle, unbroken calm, sleep takes over completely, wrapping everything in a deep, peaceful dark where nothing can disturb you and nothing needs to be remembered. The stillness stretches on, unhurried and vast, like a calm sea at night where no stars are reflected because even light has chosen to rest. Nothing interrupts this quiet. Nothing needs to. The body has already crossed the threshold where effort dissolves and rest becomes effortless. Breath moves softly, almost imperceptibly now. It does not ask to be noticed. It simply continues, slow and sure, the oldest rhythm there is. With every gentle rise and fall, the weight of the day sinks further away, as if gravity itself is easing its grip. In this deep calm, the last remnants of the medieval dentist's life drift like dust motes in darkness. They no longer form pictures or scenes. They are sensations only endurance without strain, effort without urgency. Even pain, once so sharp and immediate, has become an abstract idea, something that belongs to another time, another body, another world. The town is gone now. Not hidden, not distant, simply absent. There are no walls, no streets, no doors. Only an open, quiet space where nothing echoes. The sounds that once filled the air, bells, footsteps, voices, have faded completely, replaced by a silence that feels full rather than empty. Sleep deepens in layers. First the muscles let go entirely. Then the joints settle, finding their most comfortable positions without conscious choice. Then the nervous system, long accustomed to alertness, finally relaxes its watch. There is no threat here, no sudden cry, no need to brace. The face is smooth and slack. The brow unfurrowed, the mouth soft, the jaw free. Thoughts slow until they lose their edges. They do not connect anymore. They drift in and out like distant fog, never forming anything solid enough to hold. Memory loosens its grip completely. Even the sense of you becomes gentle and wide, less defined, more like a presence than an identity. In this depth of rest, time is no longer something that moves forward. It spreads outward instead, becoming spacious and forgiving. There is no past pressing in, no future pulling ahead. Only now stretched thin and quiet, endlessly comfortable. The medieval dentist's long endurance finds its final meaning here, not in suffering, not in duty, but in release. A life that once revolved around pain finally rests in a place where pain cannot follow. The body understands this without words and settles even deeper because of it. Breath continues. Slow, even, safe. The darkness feels warm, like a heavy blanket pulled up just enough to feel protected. Nothing can intrude. Nothing can demand attention. The mind no longer checks its surroundings. It no longer listens for danger. It rests fully, completely, deeply. Sleep thickens. Thought fades. Awareness dims. And somewhere beyond words, beyond story, beyond history, rest becomes absolute. No images remain. No sounds. No effort. Just a deep, steady peace that holds you gently and does not let go. The story does not end. It dissolves. And you sleep. The quiet does not thin or break. It expands gently, like a slow breath taken by the night itself. Nothing pulls you back. Nothing asks you to pay attention. This is the kind of stillness that feels endless but never empty. Breath continues without effort. It is slow now, deep and natural, as if the body has remembered an old rhythm it once knew very well. Each inhale arrives smoothly. Each exhale drifts away, carrying with it the last faint traces of tension, like mist dissolving before dawn. There is no longer a sense of place. No room. No bed. No walls. The body feels supported from every side, held by rest itself. Weight is present, but comforting, like sinking gently into warm sand that shapes itself perfectly around you. Thoughts no longer form clearly. They arrive as soft ripples and fade before they can become words. There is no need to follow them. The mind is no longer searching for meaning or direction. It has settled into quiet acceptance, content to float. The long history of effort, the medieval dentist's endurance, the years of strain, the closeness to pain has fully released now. It no longer belongs to anyone. It has dissolved into the past, smoothed out by time and distance. What remains is calm, deep, and unquestioned. The face is completely relaxed. The muscles around the eyes are heavy. The tongue rests naturally. The jaw hangs loose, free of guarding. The body is still, but not stiff. It is relaxed in the truest sense, loose and supported, as if every part has found exactly where it wants to be. There is no urge to move, no discomfort to fix, no signal demanding attention. Time stretches wider and wider until it no longer feels like time at all. It feels like a gentle pause that could last forever without becoming boring or uneasy. In this pause, nothing changes, and that is exactly what makes it peaceful. The darkness here is soft, not sharp. It wraps rather than presses. It feels protective, familiar, safe. There are no sudden sounds, no unexpected shifts. Everything remains exactly as it is, calm and steady. Breathing continues. Slow in, slow out. Each breath carries you deeper, not downward, but inward into a place where awareness is dim and comfortable, like a low, steady glow. Even that glow begins to fade, becoming quieter, smaller, until it is barely there at all. There is no story left to tell, no images left to hold, no thoughts left to finish. Only rest, only stillness. Only deep, uninterrupted sleep continuing on its own, gently, endlessly, peacefully. The darkness deepens further, folding around you like the softest velvet. It is not empty, nor is it pressing. It is expansive, patient, carrying the weight of time with a gentle grace that the world above could never offer. The medieval dentist, the town, the narrow streets, the tools of iron and blood, they are all distant echoes now, drifting like smoke in a room without wind. They belong to history, to memory, and here there is no demand to remember. Only stillness remains. Breath continues, smooth and unbroken. In, slow. Out, slow. Each inhale fills the chest with quiet warmth. Each exhale carries away tension so subtle that it almost feels like a luxury. The kind of luxury unknown in the harsh years of labor and endurance. Every rib, every joint, every tiny muscle softens further with each repetition. Even the skin loosens in its grip on what it must carry, letting gravity take over fully. The weight of life, once constant and unrelenting, falls away, leaving only calm. Far away in your awareness, the faintest shimmer of the old town drifts past cobblestones worn by centuries. A wooden sign swaying in a breeze that no longer exists. A bell that tolled endlessly, marking hours of pain and endurance. You notice these things only briefly, like a half-remembered dream, and they do not disturb you. They exist as soft impressions, fading almost as soon as they appear. The edges are smoothed. The colors are muted. There is no urgency, no panic, no expectation. There is only a quiet observation, distant and safe. The body relaxes further, layer by layer. The neck lets go entirely. No tension remaining to guard against imagined discomfort. Shoulders sink deeper, heavy with nothing at all. Arms and hands rest open, fingers soft, palms facing the stillness, free from grasping. The back molds gently against whatever supports it, and the legs, hips, and feet settle into perfect, unforced alignment. Every part of you learns, without thought, what it is to truly let go. The mind, too, grows quiet. It no longer clings to narrative or memory. It does not organize or categorize. Thoughts are faint ripples on a calm lake, drifting in and out without demanding recognition. There is no need to name them. There is no need to chase them. They are weightless, harmless, and fleeting. They arrive, they pass, and you continue in the quiet space between, where nothing needs to happen and nothing is expected. Awareness itself softens, like sunlight filtered through fog, gentle and diffused, allowing every sensation of tension to fade completely. The medieval dentist whose life was defined by pain, endurance, and silent courage fades further into abstraction. He is no longer a figure to visualize, no longer a presence to feel, no longer a vessel of tension or effort. He becomes pure energy, dissipating quietly into the background of time, leaving only the understanding that effort and suffering, once real and pressing, are no longer here. His life, like a candle finally extinguished, leaves a faint warmth in memory but no longer binds or constrains. There is peace in that, a deep, enduring peace, as steady and unshakable as the slow breath that carries you deeper. The darkness around you does not press, it supports. It stretches wider and wider, becoming an enveloping blanket, holding every part of you in stillness. The spaces between thoughts grow longer. Even the heartbeat, steady and rhythmic, begins to sync more fully with this stillness, slowing and deepening, expanding into a calm cadence that matches the slow waves of breath. You feel both heavy and buoyant, as if weight and support exist in perfect harmony. Every sensation becomes soothing. Every muscle, nerve, and fiber drifts into a gentle suspension. In this state, time becomes irrelevant. Past and future do not exist. There is only now, a soft, endless present in which nothing needs attention and nothing calls for response. Even memory, the memory of pain, of effort, of endurance, is distant and gentle. It has no edge, no sharpness. It is like a smooth stone in a river, touched by water endlessly until it is softened, rounded, harmless. You realize you are free from the necessity of remembering. You are free from responsibility. You are free from struggle. You are free, in every sense, to rest completely. As sleep deepens, the world inside and around you grows quieter still. Images dissolve into nothingness. Sounds, faint at first, vanish entirely. Even the soft rhythm of breathing becomes almost imperceptible. The body continues its work silently, cooling where needed, distributing warmth where needed, resting muscles and joints in effortless alignment. Even the mind has ceased effort. There is no need for analysis, no curiosity, no problem solving. Awareness itself has become a soft presence, barely there, like a gentle glow at the horizon of thought, fading slowly and comfortably into darkness. In this long, meditative state, the distinction between self and environment begins to dissolve. You are not the room. You are not the body. You are not even the breath. You are a calm, flowing awareness moving with infinite patience, suspended in a dark, warm space that supports and holds everything. Every cell, every thought, every shadow of tension has melted into quiet. Every corner of consciousness rests. The narrative of suffering, once vivid, urgent, and unavoidable, has disappeared. The screams, the fear, the pain of countless teeth, mouths, and gums no longer reach you. Even the echo of them is distant, as if wrapped in layers of fog, softened into shapes without sound or threat. The life of the medieval dentist, which seems so heavy and demanding, has transformed into pure abstraction. You recognize, without naming it, that all struggle is temporary. That every hand once extended in effort or endurance, every scream once drawn in agony, eventually dissolves. The essence of rest is all that remains. Breath continues to carry you gently deeper. Inhale, filling the chest with a soft, warm rhythm. Exhale, letting go completely, fully, entirely. Every exhale releases tension. Every inhale fills with calm. Time, awareness, even identity become less defined, less pressing, until there is nothing left to resist, nothing left to do, and nothing left to hold. Every small ache, every trace of discomfort, every fragment of memory is absorbed, softened, and set aside. Sleep thickens. It becomes viscous, slow-moving, comforting. It flows through the body like a warm stream, reaching every corner and emptying every space of residual tension. Every thought that tries to rise is gently absorbed, like a pebble sinking into calm water. Every sensation that once demanded recognition is soothed, dissolved, and neutralized. The body and mind are in perfect harmony, held by the natural rhythm of breath and the enveloping quiet. You are fully supported. You are completely safe. You are free. The narrative of effort and pain no longer exists here, only the still, unbroken continuation of rest. There is no tomorrow. There is no yesterday. There is only the vast, patient presence of calm that stretches on, infinitely gentle, infinitely still. Nothing intrudes. Nothing calls. Nothing moves. The medieval dentist, the town, the tools, the screams, the tension, the effort, they all fade fully into abstraction. Only the quiet remains. Only your body, soft and supported, moves in tandem with the slow, patient rhythm of breathing. Only the mind, gently dimmed, drifts without urgency. You are weightless and anchored, present and invisible, calm and safe. And so the darkness continues, holding you, carrying you, softening every corner of awareness. The story no longer needs to speak. The body no longer needs to act. The mind no longer needs to think. Sleep, patient and generous, spreads through every cell, every fiber, every shadow of consciousness, until the entire being rests in quiet, steady, unbroken peace. You have arrived fully in rest. The world above, the effort, the pain, the life, all of it is distant and harmless. You are completely supported by this gentle dark. Every breath anchors you deeper. Every exhale releases more completely. Every heartbeat sinks with the infinite calm. Time has ceased to matter. Awareness has ceased to pull. There is only the quiet, patient, infinite embrace of sleep. The darkness remains patient, stretching infinitely in every direction, softening everything it touches. It is not heavy. It is not pressing. It is gentle, expansive, a quiet ocean that holds you completely. You flow in it without effort, carried by breath and the slow, natural rhythm of rest. The body no longer resists. Muscles relax fully, joints release completely, and even the spine softens into the support beneath it. Every part of you feels held, supported, yet free. The old medieval dentist, his life once defined by pain, endurance, and relentless effort, is now a distant memory. He drifts through the mind like a shadowed figure seen from afar, softened and dimmed. His tools of iron, the screams, the sharp smells of blood and decay, all dissolve into abstraction. They are no longer present, only faint echoes, fading steadily into the quiet. No part of you needs to engage with them anymore. Their urgency no longer exists here. Breath continues, slow and steady, like gentle waves rolling endlessly. Inhale, filling the chest with warmth. Exhale, releasing all tension completely. With each cycle, the body becomes softer, heavier in a comfortable way, as if gravity itself has learned to cradle you. Even the smallest muscles, the ones you never notice, the ones that hold you upright throughout the day, let go. They sink and relax, joining the deep current of calm that flows through every fiber of your being. Time no longer moves forward. Minutes, hours, seconds, they all blend into one expansive present that is infinitely patient. There is no need to measure. There is no need to anticipate. The past exists only as distant, neutral observation, a story fully complete and safely distant. The future does not pull or demand. It is already taken care of by the slow, steady processes of the body and the gentle continuity of breath. Your mind becomes soft and spacious. Thoughts arise only as faint ripples on a calm, dark lake, then disappear. They do not demand attention. They do not disturb. The edges of thought dissolve into the darkness itself, leaving awareness as nothing more than a gentle, warm presence. This presence is safe, patient, and still. It does not judge. It does not measure. It simply exists in quiet, held by the infinite calm surrounding it. The body is fully integrated into this stillness. The neck rests completely, shoulders sink deeply. Arms and hands are soft and loose, palms open to the quiet. The chest rises and falls naturally, rhythmically, perfectly synchronized with breath. Every joint, every muscle, every fiber of skin relaxes into unresisted support. The legs and feet mold naturally into their resting place, heavy but calm, perfectly aligned. The body no longer needs to brace or prepare. It simply rests in the total support of the present moment. Far away beyond thought and form, the medieval town, the life of service and endurance, the struggles and pain, all of it fades further. These things no longer carry weight. They are soft impressions, distant and harmless, like faint echoes in a vast empty hall. You can sense them, perhaps, but they hold no tension, no urgency, no threat. They are absorbed into the infinite quiet around you. The darkness itself is nurturing. It wraps you in layers of gentle weightlessness. It supports without pressing, embraces without constraining. The more you sink into it, the more your muscles surrender. The more your thoughts dissolve, the deeper your rest becomes. Every small trace of stress, every lingering fragment of tension flows away naturally, absorbed by this patient space. Even awareness itself softens. You no longer need to watch anything. You do not need to check for danger, to anticipate noise, to plan. Even the distinction between self and environment fades. You exist as calm, spacious presence, carried by the slow rhythm of breath, cushioned by the dark, gentle world around you. The body continues its work quietly, efficiently, without effort. Blood circulates calmly. Temperature balances naturally. Muscles repair. Cells replenish. Even the nervous system, once alert and vigilant, now rests. releasing long-held tension and relaxing fully into the quiet. Every inch of the body is deeply, utterly calm. Thoughts arrive only briefly and then disappear. Memory drifts by like clouds passing across a night sky, distant and harmless. The life of effort, the medieval dentist, the struggles endured, these are only soft echoes now, like music heard far away through fog. They do not touch you. They do not demand response. They cannot disturb. Breath carries you further. Inhale warm, full, gentle. Exhale soft, slow, releasing completely. Each breath anchors you deeper, allows you to sink further into calm, supports the mind in quiet, and softens every muscle in the body. The heart beats steadily, comfortably, like the slow rhythm of a safe river flowing beneath the darkness. Sleep deepens in layers. Each layer dissolves the edges of consciousness further. Thoughts that once clung now drift away. Memories that once demanded attention fade. The awareness of body softens completely. The distinction between you and everything around you becomes gentle, almost imperceptible. There is only presence, only stillness, only quiet. The darkness continues to hold you, softening and supporting. Every breath, every heartbeat, every subtle movement of the body is guided by calm. Every sound of the world fades further. Even internal sensations, the faint tension of joints, the distant thrum of muscles soften until they are part of the infinite quiet. Nothing interrupts. Nothing calls. There is no need to do anything. There is nothing to attend. Only the steady, patient rhythm of rest remains. The body grows heavy, but in a comfortable, supported way. Muscles sink completely. Joints align naturally. Every fiber of the body relaxes as though gravity itself has learned to cradle you perfectly. Even the smallest, unnoticed areas of tension are absorbed into the calm around you. There is no urgency, no discomfort, no thought pulling at you. Only the slow, rhythmic cycle of breath, carrying you deeper into comfort. The medieval dentist, the town, the life of endurance, all of it dissolves completely into abstraction. The screams, the tools, the fear, the effort, none of it touches you now. All of it belongs to the past. Only the gentle, infinite calm of now remains. You float in it fully, carried, held, supported, free from every expectation and demand. Awareness itself continues to fade softly. Thoughts are only brief ripples, then nothing. The edges of consciousness soften until even the sense of self is gentle, like a whisper in the dark. There is only stillness, patient and vast, holding everything. And in this complete, unbroken calm, sleep moves deeper still. Breath, heartbeat, and the quiet presence of body and mind carry you into layers of rest that are slow, endless, and untroubled. Every trace of tension, every hint of effort, every lingering memory is absorbed into the darkness, leaving only soft, infinite peace. Nothing disturbs. Nothing intrudes. Nothing demands attention. You are fully, completely safe. You are fully, completely held. You are fully, completely at rest. The night stretches infinitely, patient and unbroken, and you drift deeper and deeper into sleep, carried by the gentle, endless rhythm of breath and the quiet, infinite stillness around you. Breath flows slowly, steadily, naturally. Inhale, warm, gentle, calm. Exhale, soft, releasing, letting go. With each breath, every trace of tension drifts away, dissolving like mist in sunlight. Even the smallest, unnoticed muscles, the ones that brace unconsciously, release and soften. The body no longer needs to anticipate anything. It is held entirely by the quiet, patient presence of the night around you. Time has ceased to matter. Minutes and hours blur into an endless present, infinite and calm. The mind has stopped counting, judging, planning. Thoughts drift briefly and disappear, leaving no mark. Memory becomes distant and gentle, like a faded photograph left in a drawer. The medieval dentist, the pain, the effort, the small victories and losses, they are shadows now, softened, harmless, absorbed into the endless quiet. Your awareness expands with the darkness. You are no longer confined to a body, a room, a place. You are a calm, weightless presence floating in an infinite space, carried by breath and supported by stillness. There's nothing you need to do, nothing to think, nothing to remember. Only the gentle rhythm of existence, steady and unbroken, flowing around and through you. The body continues to rest deeply. The neck relaxes completely, letting the head feel fully supported. Shoulders drop, heavy and loose. Arms and hands soften, palms open and free. Chest rises and falls with smooth, effortless breath. The spine sinks naturally into support. Legs and feet rest completely, aligned and heavy in the most comfortable way possible. Every part of the body is fully integrated into this quiet. The medieval world has disappeared. The towns, the tools, the screams, the effort, they are gone, absorbed into abstraction. Even the idea of struggle feels distant. Only calm remains, only the infinite quiet of now. The past no longer presses. The future does not call. You are completely present in a safe, gentle, still space. The darkness itself becomes a nurturing presence. It wraps around you in layers, holding every part of you without pressure, without effort, without judgment. Every inhalation draws calm deeper. Every exhalation releases residual tension. Every subtle ache, every lingering thought, every trace of effort dissolves into the infinite support of the night. The mind softens further. Thoughts arrive briefly, then vanish. Memory drifts like a cloud, harmless and distant. The life of the medieval dentist, once so vivid and pressing, has become a story without urgency, a sequence of impressions that cannot disturb you. There is only calm, only peace, only the slow, steady rhythm of breath and presence. Breath carries you even deeper, in slow, calm, warm, out, soft, full release. Each cycle takes you farther from tension, farther from thought, farther from the world above. The body continues to sink, every muscle, every joint, every fiber softening, aligning naturally. The nervous system rests completely. Even the heart slows slightly, matching the rhythm of stillness around you. Sleep deepens further. Layers of rest build upon one another, forming a thick, gentle current that carries every part of you. Consciousness softens, awareness dims. Thoughts no longer form, memory no longer presses. Even the sense of self relaxes, expanding and merging with the calm surrounding you. You are no longer holding anything, you are fully held. The darkness stretches infinitely. It supports you completely. It absorbs every shadow of tension. It quiets every lingering trace of effort or strain. It is infinite patience, infinite calm, infinite stillness. You float in it, weightless and anchored, fully resting. The medieval dentist, his life of endurance and pain, has faded into abstraction. There are no tools, no screams, no struggle. Only the soft, unbroken quiet. The echoes of history, distant and softened, cannot disturb you. You exist only in the calm present, carried entirely by the gentle rhythm of breath and the patient support of infinite dark. Every part of the body is relaxed. Jaw is loose. Face is smooth. Neck is soft. Shoulders heavy and unmoving. Arms, hands, chest, spine, legs, feet, all fully supported, all resting deeply. Even the smallest, unnoticed tensions have dissolved. Sleep has taken over completely. There is nothing left to resist, nothing left to brace against. Awareness itself is soft, diffuse, expanding into the surrounding stillness. The boundary between self and environment disappears. You are a calm presence in an infinite space of quiet, fully safe, fully supported, fully at rest. Thoughts do not arise except briefly, like ripples fading immediately on still water. Memory is distant, neutral, and gentle. Even imagination rests. Breath anchors you deeper. Inhale, warm, full. Exhale, soft, gentle release. Heartbeat slows, perfectly steady, in rhythm with the calm. The body settles further into support, aligning naturally. Every sensation softens. Every shadow of effort disappears. The darkness holds everything, carrying you without pressure, without effort, endlessly. Sleep thickens. It flows like a gentle river through every cell, every fiber, every muscle, every nerve. Every trace of past tension is absorbed. Every remnant of effort is dissolved. You are fully immersed in calm, unbroken stillness. Nothing can disturb. Nothing demands attention. Nothing needs to happen. You are completely safe. You are completely supported. You are completely at rest. The night stretches endlessly, patient and calm. Breath and heartbeat continue as gentle guides, carrying you deeper into the unbroken quiet. Awareness softens further until even the sense of self is a gentle, weightless presence, diffused into infinite calm. The story, the medieval world, the struggles and pain all fade fully. There is only darkness, quiet, stillness, and deep, patient sleep. Every inch of your body, every corner of your mind, every shadow of memory is held, softened, absorbed. You are weightless, anchored, and completely calm. Nothing follows. Nothing intrudes. Nothing calls. Sleep continues endlessly, carrying you deeper into comfort, security, and infinite quiet. You are fully immersed in rest, in the gentle rhythm of breath and the vast, patient darkness. Time, effort, pain, memory, none of these touch you. Only sleep, soft, deep, unbroken, infinite sleep surrounds you. The darkness around you stretches wider, soft, and endless. It is not heavy, not pressing, only expansive, like a quiet ocean holding you completely. The body relaxes further, every muscle, every joint, every fiber releasing without effort. The spine sinks fully into support. The arms, shoulders, and neck drop gently, letting go of tension completely. Even the smallest, unnoticed muscles release, absorbed by the calm surrounding them. Breath flows naturally, slowly, deeply. Inhale, warm and calm. Exhale, soft, letting go completely. Each breath takes you deeper into stillness, further from tension, further from thought, further from the world above. The rhythm of breathing carries the body naturally into comfort. Every inhale draws calm inward. Every exhale releases lingering traces of effort, stress, or memory. Time has no meaning here. Minutes, hours, days all blend into a single vast present. The mind no longer organizes, judges, or anticipates. Thoughts drift briefly and vanish, leaving no mark. Memory becomes distant and gentle, like a faint echo you can sense but cannot reach. The medieval dentist, his tools, the pain he endured, the screams, the effort, everything has softened into harmless abstraction. There is nothing urgent, nothing demanding. Only the infinite patient quiet remains. The body continues its deep rest. Jaw hangs relaxed, eyes rest behind closed lids. The neck is soft. Shoulders sink heavy. Arms, hands, chest, spine, legs, and feet settle completely, fully supported. Even subtle, unnoticed tensions are absorbed into the calm, disappearing into nothing. The body no longer needs to brace. It no longer needs to hold. It is entirely held by the surrounding stillness. The darkness itself is nurturing. It surrounds and supports, wrapping every part of you without pressure, without constraint. It absorbs every shadow of discomfort. Every trace of effort dissolves. Every thought that arises is softened instantly, like a ripple fading on smooth water. You are fully immersed in calm, fully anchored in rest, fully safe. The mind softens further. Awareness expands into the darkness. The boundary between self and surroundings disappears. You exist as a gentle presence in infinite stillness. Thoughts arise only briefly and fade immediately. Memories drift harmlessly in the background, neutral and distant. The life of the medieval dentist, the struggles, the pain, all are gone, absorbed into infinite quiet. Breath anchors you deeper. Inhale, slow, full, warm, exhale. Soft, complete release. Every cycle draws you farther from tension, farther from thought, farther from the world above. The heart slows slightly, matching the rhythm of the calm around you. The nervous system rests fully. Every cell, every nerve, every fiber relaxes completely. The body, mind, and awareness are integrated into stillness, flowing together in perfect harmony. Sleep deepens. Layers of rest build on one another, forming a gentle current that carries every part of you. Consciousness softens. Awareness dims further. Even the sense of self relaxes, expanding into the surrounding stillness. There is nothing to hold, nothing to guard. Only the patient, vast calm remains. The medieval dentist, once defined by labor and pain, has dissolved into abstraction. The tools, the screams, the effort, they cannot reach you. They belong to the past. Here, in this infinite quiet, nothing disturbs, nothing demands. You float fully held, fully supported, completely safe. Every part of the body is fully relaxed. Muscles heavy, joints aligned, skin soft, spine supported. Even the smallest traces of tension have been absorbed by the calm. Sleep flows like a warm river through every fiber, every cell, carrying rest, releasing effort, softening every edge. Awareness continues to fade. Thoughts no longer form. Memory drifts harmlessly. The self dissolves, merging completely with the darkness, which stretches endlessly in all directions. You are a calm presence in infinite stillness. Breath and heartbeat continue in quiet, gentle rhythm, carrying you deeper and deeper. The darkness grows soft and enveloping. It holds every part of you perfectly, cradling, supporting, absorbing every trace of effort or strain. There is nothing to do, nothing to attend, nothing to resist. Sleep carries you entirely, guiding you deeper into infinite calm. Breath anchors you further. Inhale, full, gentle, warm. Exhale, complete, soft release. Heartbeat slows, rhythm matches calm. Every cell, every fiber, every muscle relaxes into deep, total rest. The body is fully supported. Mind is fully quiet. Awareness is soft, diffused, weightless. Sleep thickens. It flows through the body like warm water, carrying every remaining tension away. Every thought dissolves. Every memory is softened. Every trace of past effort vanishes. You are fully immersed in unbroken calm. There is nothing to anticipate, nothing to resist, nothing to do. Only the infinite quiet of sleep remains. The medieval dentist, the town, the struggles and pain, all are distant and harmless. Only the soft, unbroken darkness surrounds you, carrying you deeper into rest. Awareness fades completely. The sense of self dissolves. Breath, heartbeat, and the infinite calm guide you. You are fully safe, fully supported, fully at rest. Nothing intrudes, nothing disturbs, nothing demands. Sleep continues endlessly, soft, deep, patient, infinite. The body and mind flow with it, fully surrendered, fully held. The darkness stretches infinitely, unbroken and calm, carrying you further deeper, weightless and serene. You are completely immersed in rest, completely supported, completely safe. Every part of you flows with the quiet. Every thought, memory, and tension has dissolved. Sleep, patient and infinite, surrounds and holds you, guiding you into deep, dreamless calm.